and the Portimao circuit. This is season 5, this is round 9 of SFR. There 1, 2, 3, 4. So with this race included, there's 4 races of the season left, and it's interesting in the standings. We have Corbins leading the standings, and he's got a 7-point advantage to Honesy. A little bit further back is Stein. Stein isn't racing this week, and he didn't race last week, and he's had a bit of a run of form where he hasn't been scoring too many points. So his early championship aims and he was going for have very slowly slowed down. So Corbins and Honesy can open up the gap to third. At the minute, Corbins is on 117, Honesy's on 110. Then we've got Stein on 87, and then Cali Rob not too much further behind on 79. Then we've got Dace on 60, Lasser on 55, and race winner last week, Mr. Woot, on 50 points. With regards to the constructors, we have Mercedes on top, and quite a big gap. There is 38 points between Mercedes and Aston Martin. So Mercedes on 155, Aston Martin on 117. So both drivers from Mercedes are racing today. That is Corbins, that is Righty Boy, and both Aston Martin drivers are also racing. That is Honesy. Yeah, that's going to be interesting race towards the end of the season, as we are now in the lobby. We did have a full grid of 20 checked in, and one driver pulled out right at the last minute, so we are down to 19, which is a shame. I thought we were going to have our a full grid today, but no such luck. So it does look dry. I have got Delta on the hotline. So Delta, what is the weather looking like today?
Well, Van Rocco, it's funny you should ask. So qualifying, we're looking at a dry quali.
Yep.
All the way through. Now turn the heat up because the race is wet.
How wet is wet?
We've got a 93% chance at the start of the race of wet.
I feel it in my fingers.
Drops down a bit through the race, but not enough. So I think it's going to be full wets to inters at least.
Full wets to inters. Okay, so that could be that could definitely turn the heat up, as you said. Add a bit of chili pepper, and bang, we have got a wet race in our hands now. Maybe saying, yeah, we do love a wet race. It always adds to the controversy, always adds to the strategy, and you know. But Portimao is a hard track in the dry. The traction zones are, I mean, just as we watch Lasser coming up to the corner where I think a lot of drivers are going to struggle today. So this corner is bad enough. This one is just pure evil. It's uphill, it's off camber, and the curbs on either side will throw you out. We've also got this corner here. That inside curb will throw you out a little bit, and then as you come around this corner, it's not too bad. But this one is quite bumpy up here. As you can see, his car's bumping around a little bit, and then we got into a blind braking zone for the apex. So the wet weather is definitely going to cause a few incidents, a few issues, and the drivers, obviously at the minute, the qualifying times will probably be a lot slower than what you'd normally come to expect on a dry qualifying. That is because the drivers are going to be putting on a wet setup, so they're going to be driving around with a wet setup. They can tweak the front wing, and they can tweak the on-throttle differential. That is it. As Lasser fights the car through turn 1 and turn 2. He's got Delta Lima just up ahead of him. He should get out of the way. Delta is on an outlap. Yeah, he stays well wide. And Lasser flows it up through the end of the first sector. We're already there, and it's a 22.252 in the first sector. Downhill left-handed braking zone into an uphill blind left-hander. And over the crest for another right-hander, and here we go into the tricky corner number 8. Yeah, very twitchy on the exit, but does keep it on the straight and narrow. Driver has gone off. You can see some gravel tracks on the track, so driver's gone off at some point. Brakes late into runs a bit wide and does invalidate his lap there. So let's jump back on board with Stewart. Stewart is still valid. He's set a personal best middle sector, which isn't hard because this is his first lap. So Stewart comes round around that corner towards the end of the lap now. Now a double right-hander. This one you feel like you want to put the power on a lot earlier, but then you don't, and you've got to be patient there. And then we've got expect a few drivers to run out of ERS like he has just done there just before the line, and sets a 1:18.1. Who is coming around? There's a Ferrari coming. Who is that? It's Kelly Robb. Is he just starting his lap? He is. We're going to have, let's jump on board actually with Delta Lima. Let's do a lap with Delta Lima. We haven't done too much. She's not been on the stream too much this year. So let's do a lap with Delta Lima as Cornet sets the fastest lap with a 1:17.290. Delta ever present in SFR. Co-owner runs a bit wide. Stay wide there. That's it. Doesn't invalidate. He's got his teammate giving him a bit of a slipstream. Is he going to get out of the way? Stewart does. Look at that from Stewart. Just hope he didn't end up braking too late and then just sending it across the apex into Delta as he was turning in left there. And we come to the right-hander, double right-hander, and unfortunately he invalidates and then nearly spins on the exit, but keeps it together. Let's jump on board actually now with Henry then, as Henry just starts his flying lap. Now this is a very fast driver, was a full-timer here, gone switched back to reserve now. Runs under the ERT Henry username. He is in the league ERT, I believe. I'm assuming it's ERT, the league is called. He's there with PHG Vengeance, I think, or ERT Vengeance as he is known as now. Henry on his day, especially in qualifying, absolutely rapid. Race-wise, not quite as lucky in the race. Does get himself into a few situations that he could possibly avoid, but expect this driver here to set a very competitive time. This will be the benchmark. Cornet's obviously already set a pretty fast time with a 1:17.290, so he's already nearly half a second quicker than what Kelly Robb could have managed. Let's see what Henry's got in his back pocket and see if he can beat Cornet's time. It looked pretty neat and tidy, I won't lie. It looked pretty quick. Stays right to the pit lane entry, runs out of ERS and goes into the 1:16, so a 1:16.137. I said he was quick. He's gone 1.1 seconds faster than Cornet. Now championship leader Coolbeans is invalidated. Viet in the Alfa Romeo is coming towards the end of his laps. That's right on board with Viet through the last few corners. Stays close to the apex there, close to the inside curb. Drifts his car out left then to cut back in for the right-hander. Drifts it wide, follows the flow of the road. And let's see what he does. He stays quite tight to that inside curb. You don't want to run too much, but he's already out of ERS. So that's going to be slowing him down the straight, and he goes a 1:17.4. We've got 6 drivers setting time, so Red Dog's got a 1:18.2, Stewart's with a 1:18.1, Callie's 17.6, Viet 17.4, Cornet 17.2, and Henry says 16, and he said 17, then 16.1. Let's go to the other Mercedes, and Righty Boy has a jump on board with him. He is backwards at a corner that I always struggle with as well, so no. Dace into the 1:16s as well. Very fast driver in his own right, and he's under P2 with a 16.8, still 7/10ths off Henry, but that is a bit more promising. He will have another run later on in the session as well. Toss in the Haas comes into the braking zone. Delta, oh, maybe a bit of blocking there from Delta. I think Toss probably will not be very happy about that. He had to back off on the exit, and Delta gets out the way. Toss has probably lost a bit of time, lost his composure there, goes a bit wide, a bit twitchy on the entry, and he's going to keep his lap going, try and get some time in the bag. And the McLaren is off the track there as well, so both McLarens are not impeding Toss, but you know, just putting him off his stride a little bit maybe. But then he is Scottish, he deserves it. I didn't mean that all of Scotland. I didn't mean to anger all of Scotland there. I did, but I didn't. Anyway, Toss is coming round the final corner, keeps it right. He's got plenty of ERS. I think he must have turned it down. He's not using too much, a 1:20, so I don't think it was a potentially quick lap anyway. Mark of Kenya, this is the shock of the century for Mark of Kenya. He is out of his pit box before 10 minutes is up, and he's already on a qualifying lap. Very strange goings on. Now this is a driver who doesn't like to set a lot of qualifying laps. He's normally a one-shot wonder. Let's see what Mark of Kenya's got. Very late brakes there. Misses the apex completely on the left-hander, but he now comes up to the blind left-hander. the right-hander, which he lets off, brakes a little bit for, heavy braking into the uphill right-hand. A bit twitchy there, was it? Maybe it's just the glitchy of the his internet connection. A bit twitchy, that's the internet connection for those of you watching and possibly wondering why he is driving like a madman. Stuart Little and this driver, Mark of Kenya, they're like magnets to each other. They do like to have incidents, so I'm sure Stuart and Mark of Kenya would like to qualify as far away from each other as humanly possible, but knowing our luck, and I hope, they're going to be qualifying right next to each other and have a huge battle into turn 1. He's just about to drop his ERS, it runs out there, he goes an 18 flat. Now, who should we jump on board with next? Indian Jesus just going across the line with a 17.2, that's a good time from him, that pushes him into P4, just ahead of Cornet. Bacon is on a flying lap as he comes towards the double right-hander downhill. Keeps it there. Henry gets out of his way. Henry's on an outlap, so we're going to watch out for Henry and see if he can go any faster. Cali Robb, meanwhile, has gone second fastest with a 16.6. So it's tenth and a bit quicker than what Dace could manage, but he's still half a second off Henry, so he's still got some time to find, and I'm sure he can find it and close that gap even more as Bacon comes round the final corner. And he goes into the 1 minute 18s, 18.4. I think I saw B16 coming. He is invalid though, unfortunately. Now Holmesy, so you're not going to see too many different strategies in qualifying. A lot of drivers are going to be using, quite every driver is using the soft tyre, as they are going to be starting on either the intermediate or the wet. As Delta's mentioned, it probably will be a wet tyre. It does look like it's going to be pretty heavy rain at the start of the race. So you won't see too many. You won't see any drivers putting the medium tyres on in qualifying. They're just going to want to go as fast as they possibly can. That's right on board with Righty Boy. Teammate is Coolbeans. Both these drivers are bringing good points home for Mercedes. Obviously, Coolbeans has brought the most. He is our championship leader, but Righty Boy is backing them up, and he's got nearly 40 points himself this season. So he is doing a very good job for Mercedes to try and bring home a constructors' title. Righty Boy already has a constructors' title in his back pocket. He joined a Haas team late on in season 2 and picked up a world championship alongside Toss after Kachow dropped out of the league just over halfway through. Righty Boy took over his seat and helped Toss to win the constructors' title for Haas, so he could win his second constructors' title here. What do you reckon? Can you do it? He's got to bring some good points home along with Coolbeans and see how they can finish the season strongly with 4 races to go. So Righty Boy comes round the final corner. He's going to enter the pit straight. He stays left. He doesn't stay right like some other drivers, so that might lose him a bit of time. He goes 19.4, so it's the slowest of the time drivers who have set laps, so he has got time to improve. Where is Henry? Henry's down on his time, is he? No, he had to abandon his first run, and he's going out again for another run, and he is 200ths up on his best time. So we'll watch out and just ride on board with Henry as he tries to improve on his best time so far. Absolutely on the limit there, but unfortunately too far on the limit, and he does end up invalidating. Let's see what Cali Robb's got. Was he up? I can't see if he's up or down on his best time just yet, but he is on a flying lap. See how he copes and manages with the double right-hander at turn 7 and turn 8. Looks pretty good, won't lie, looks pretty good there. He comes up the hill into a blind braking zone. There's a corner there somewhere, there it is. And Lando Norris, a couple of seasons ago when we first started racing at Portugal, had his famous quote around here, which was moving up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster. Or was that America, actually? I think that was actually, he did that in America, his radio test. But anyway, it is like a roller coaster. A lot of the drivers do call it a roller coaster ride as Cali Robb stays right, and he does go faster, and he's within 2/10 now of Henry. I thought he was going to do that. It looked like he was going to get into the 1 minute 15s at one point, actually. And Holmesy is up there as well. He's gone a 16.5. Toss has gone a 16.6, so he's in P4. Both Alphas in P5 and P6 respectively at the minute, as Dace is up on his time, so we'll keep an eye out for him to see if he can improve any more. Where is Cornet? Cornet's on an outlap. We will ride on board with Cornet. when he starts his lap. Lasser is on a flying lap coming around turn 7 and turn 8 respectively. Is he up? I can't see if he's up or down on his best time either yet. Yerdy is in P12 currently, just starting his flying lap. So unfortunate in NRL last night. It was running as high as P4. We know this driver's got decent pace. He can push. I really hope he gets a podium at some point in his league racing in either NRL on the CCR network, so NRL or SFR. Now Cornet just starts his lap. Let's ride on board with Cornet as he navigates turns 1, turns 2 and turns 3. Look pretty neat and tidy through there. We are still valid. He's going to put the power down. Short shifts to third, up to 4th and 5th around the left-hander, and he is a 10th down nearly on his best time, so he not as quick as he was, but he might find a bit more time in the 2nd and 3rd sectors respectively. We shall see. He stays right, rides that outside curb, cuts back to the left and cuts in on the right, and we's lost it. And is he gonna... I think he aims his back end for the wall, gives it a little nudge, and he is in the wall, and that is his lap over. He might not get any time to go out back in and set another lap, because I think we are getting pretty close. Yeah, 3 minutes I think I just saw. The thing is, the irritating thing is the timer disappears when yellow flags come out. Now, who is there? Red Dog is on a lap. Let's ride on board with Red Dog in the Aston Martin, currently in P2 in the constructors standings alongside Holmesy, bringing good points for Aston Martin as well. Little snap of oversteer there. He didn't gain any time, but that has unfortunately cost him his lap. B16, what's he got in his... what's he got? It looked like a pretty decent first sector time, a 22.4. So it's not too far off the top guy, so he might have a good time in his pocket here. He sets a personal best middle sector. So that means he is improving on his previous time. He hasn't set a previous time. It might have been an invalid one, so it still might have been a decent one, just invalid. As he comes round the final corner now, he stays left, doesn't stay right. He goes across the line and it's a 17.5. It pushes him from P19 up to P11. So both Williams currently in... Well, I would say both Williams. They were P10 and P11. Lasser's just gone faster and gone into P7. Right, a few drivers on outlaps. We have all the top 5 on outlaps. Then we've got Lasser, who's just completed a flying lap. Indian Jesus is in P8. Cornet's in the pits. I don't think he's going to get time to come in and come back out again. We will see. He's just been pushed back into his box. Bacon went faster, I believe, or is he on a lap now? Yeah, he went faster, so he's now up into P11 with a 17.4. Now Henry, the first driver to start a flying lap, he is pushing his way down. He's a 10th and a half up on his best time in the first sector, so he is he's doing well. He's a lot further up the road than he was on the last attempted lap he tried. He was only 200ths up, so he's a 10th and a half up this time. He's found even more time in the first sector. Very neat and tidy through turn 7 and turns 8, over the crest of the hill, down the hill and back up the hill again to double right-hander. Enters the apex. A bit twitchy there, and that is his lap done and dusted with. He might not get a chance to improve there. Don't know how much time is remaining on the board. We'll see. B16 is out of the session. I think he's just retired in the pits, I believe. I can't see how much time is still remaining because there's a yellow flag out on track. So Cali. Is that Toss just a bit further ahead? So Toss is just a bit further ahead up the race. So we're right on board with Toss actually as he comes round. What's his... He's 3/10ths up. This is going to push him possibly up to P3, if not P2, if he can find a bit more time. Where's Holmesy? Holmesy is in the first sector. So Toss comes round the final corner. Stays right. He's out of ERS though, so he's going to lose some time going down to the straight, and he goes up into P2. He improves by 4/10ths. Cali Rob goes across the line and he finds time, but not enough time. Cali Rob in P3, Toss the Caber in P2. Holmesy, unfortunately, very twitchy there on turn 8, and that's his qualifying over. Dace is still valid. Dace is 600ths up on his best time. Dace is going to be coming round the final corner and going to try and find even more time. He has to find 7/10ths at the minute. He's only got 600ths in the bank. Corbins qualifies in P6. Dace improves by 1/10.5 and shifts him up to P5. So at the minute it looks like we have a pole position. Mark of Kenya is spinning round. Bacon is abandoned. Yerdy is the last driver to cross the line, is he? He loses time. And that is the end of that. Exotic never got a lap in. So Exotic starts at the back of the grid in P19. And we have a ERT Henry on pole with a 16.1. I had a horrible feeling that there was going to be a huge gap between first and second at one point. It was about 6/10, and it ended up being only a 1/10.5. Let me just quickly log on to the YouTube. There is a comment. Let's see what the comment is. It's Mark of Kenya. He's predicted himself some point scoring. So there we go, that is Henry on pole, at exactly a 1/10.5 to toss the Caber in P2. A few drivers running Ukrainian flags, as you can see. We've got Kelly Robb, Honesy, Dace, Mark of Kenya, Bacon, all running the Ukrainian flag. A few drivers have gone for helmets. Can't see the helmets from my camera settings, so you won't be able to show you those. But Henry and Toss on the front row. Kelly, Robb, and Honesy on the second, Dace and Corbins on the third, Via and Lasser on the fourth, and then as we go further down the grid. But it is going to be a wet race, so whoever has, whoever's got the best setup. As you can see, that is pretty heavy racing. Last time we had very heavy rain, wet start. Honesy decided to put the inters on to try and be different, and realised after about 3 corners he needed to be on the wet tyres. Came in and put the wet tyres on, then came in and put another set of wet tyres on, I believe. And we'll see. Now Exotic is going to Bottas into turn 1. He said he's going to tie. It's time for him to go bowling. Let's see how many drivers he can take out into turn 1, shall we? Honesy is also saying that the tyre is saying unsuitable tyres. Stuart sharing a picture of Norris from the Grand Prix in a country of he who shall not be named. Last season when it decided to rain very hard. It's beep beep beep. Full wet boys, which is what Norris decided to come out with when he realised he was on the wrong strategy. What's Exotic sharing here? His screen's gone a bit mental. He's not letting him put inters on. Interesting. Right. Let's see what tyres. I think everyone is going to be on wets. Honesy stuck an intermediate tyre on. I'm assuming he will change that. I doubt very much he will stick with the intermediate tyres. If he does, then he is... there you go. He's gone to the wets now. He's an absolute madman. Henry, our pole sitter, has said that he's forgotten how to drive in the wet. So we will see what goes. Honesy's put the intermediates back on. Is he going to switch those back to wets? I don't know. I think he's gone intermediates. He has. He has gone. This could be genius, or this could be absolute stupidity. I mean, Coolbeans is probably rubbing his hands right now, because as his closest championship challenger, you know, all you want to do when you're leading the championship is score as many points as you possibly can and finish higher than your rival. As long as you finish higher than your rival, you are always going to pick up more points, so you're not going to lose any points to them. Honesy's starting 2 places ahead of him on the intermediate tyres. Could possibly see Honesy fall back a bit too far and put Coolbeans out of reach. So Coolbeans just has to think, just finish ahead of Honesy. That's all Coolbeans has to do today. Just finish ahead of Honesy. Possibly pick up some points in the process, but as long as he doesn't lose any points to him, he'll be absolutely laughing. Now there's huge puddles on the track. I've already seen Honesy go wide at a couple of corners, understeer. He's got a big gap to the driver ahead of him. Henry's doing a very fast outlap, to be fair. I think he's probably getting in a bit of wet weather practice. We've got Cornet disqualified. Cornet's on the grid. I don't know what's happened to him. I think Honesy is going to struggle. He's just twitching. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. Yeah, and we're round. Henry's round as well. This... I'm genuinely not looking forward to the start of this race. Yeah, turn 1 is going to be full of surprises. Yeah. So Mark of Kenya and Cornet both ended up getting disqualified. Henry is going to be joining us, going to be ghosting out and coming through the grid. He's just coming to his grid spot now. He was round at the last corner. So let's have the far out view as Righty Boy takes up his grid spot in P18, Exotic takes his in P19, and we're going to be going racing for SFR Season 5 Round 9 any second now. As we just load up. Hoping all's good, all's well, that ends well. Have we got 3, 4, 5 lights illuminated? Well, as soon as they go out, we go racing. Can't see a thing. And oh no, Dace has got a drive-through penalty, and Henry can't get away. Toss the caber. I think Henry got away in the end. Toss the caber, lost position. Cali Roberts up to P2. Viet's into P4. Honesy's dropped to P6. Let's see Honesy. And Coolbeans is down 6 places to P12. So even though Honesy's losing places, everyone else is losing places as well. We've got a CRL Indian Jesus around at turn 1. And who else is around? We've got a bit of chaos happening at the back here, I believe. I think we're all pretty much through there. So Henry still leads the race. Kelly, Rob and Toss were fighting there. Toss goes very wide at turn 5, I believe that is. And Red Dog's got a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. Don't know where that was. And we've got a VSC, a virtual safety car, after I think Indian Jesus has spun it round again and possibly blocking a little bit. So it's a virtual safety car, not a full course safety car. This basically just neutralises the race. Everyone goes at the same pace. No one gains anything, no one loses anything unless you go through the pits. If the VSC stays out for long enough, Honesy might decide to pit and get off those wet tyres. He will lose time, obviously, but not as much as you would have done when you're racing at full chat. So we're still under VSC. Delta Lima up 6 places to P8. Great start from him. He's pretty good in the driver in the wet, to be fair. Bit of a dark horse to get a very good point scoring position. Biggest winners are Exotic up 9 places. He didn't go bowling. If he went bowling, he went bowling for a strike and got 9. So he's on for a split at the minute, and he's up 9 places into P10. Who we got in the pits? We've got a few drivers in the pits. Viet Holmesy is pitting as well, so that moves Coolbeans up into P8 ahead of him, and we've lost Mark of Kenya. Mark of Kenya is out of the race. What's happened to him? And Dace is disqualified. What's happened at the pit entry? Something's happened at the pit entry, and we've lost Mark of Kenya, and we've lost... Dace has been disqualified, and yeah, Yerdy, Red Dog, Holmesy, and Via all pitting to put new fresh tyres and wings on. Holmesy ended up going for the wet tyres. He put the wet tyres on. Now let me see. You just scoot away from this for a minute. I'll invite Dace in. He likes to commentate on occasions, and see, get his point of view on what happened with that disqualification, because that was absolutely crazy. So Henry still leads the race. He's got Calirub just behind him, P2 in the Ferrari. Toss the Cabers down a position into P3. Lasser's up a few positions into P4. Bacon, and look at Delta. Delta now up a further 2 positions into P6 and holding his own. He's only 7/10 off the back of Impossible Bacon. Can he make a move into P5? Can he get on the podium? There's the predicted pit stop strategies. You don't have to make a pit stop if you don't want to, if it stays fully wet, but Delta appeared to say it might go intermediates towards the end as B16 makes a move on Coolbeans, and B16 moves into P9. Coolbeans drops now to P10, so Coolbeans is possibly struggling on those tyres, which gives Holmesy a bit of a bonus, and Cornet is sped in the pit lane, and he's got a 5-second penalty, and we've got a spinner. Toss the spinner is round at turn 5. Is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Off of the hill at round turn 4. He was having such a good race. He's now down into P12. So not a good lap here for Toss the Caber. Now we welcome into the commentary box Dace. What the hell happened? Did it involve Mark of Kenya by chance?
Yes, it did.
I saw Mark of Kenya retire from the session.
Me and Veert both had drive-through penalties.
Yeah.
And my screen, I guess, refreshed quicker than his, and mine said the VSC was already over and it was a green flag.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make it into the pits, but he had almost completely stopped. So Mark of Kenya hit the back of me, but I had nowhere to go. So
right, okay, fair enough. Yeah. I thought, obviously Mark of Kenya is a bit of a controversial driver on some occasions. I saw he retired, and then I saw that you were disqualified, so I thought he might have hit the wall, spun it, and then you've just stopped at the pit lane entry to stop yourself from hitting him, but it was the other way around. You blocked it.
Yeah, I was blocked, and then subsequently blocked him. Yep.
Well, it's up to you. If you want to stay in here with me, you're quite welcome to commentate on the race. If you don't, then feel free.
Why I came in here.
Perfect. So look at Delta. Delta's having an absolute drive of his life. He's up to P5.
He was quite frightening behind me.
Was he?
I was just watching in my rear view. It's scary.
He's a man on the mission today. I mean, he's in the party with us. He's muted, but he can hear us live talking about him. So don't put him under too much pressure, because he's on for a podium. Look at him go. Look at my boy.
And you just cursed him.
Yeah. He curses himself, to be fair.
But yeah, my practice this morning was all for nothing. I was hoping the race would restart.
How come?
I don't know, for any reason.
You were hoping for some kind of game-breaking glitch. We seem to be pretty clear so far. The timing screen's a bit out, but I think for the most part it seems alright. But how was it in the wet? Was it difficult? It's a hard track in the dry, I find, let alone in the wet.
It didn't feel too bad. As like slippy, beginning like traction, but it just understeery. It didn't feel too bad. Just dumb incident. That's all.
So what did you do for setup? Did you put a wet setup on for qualifying and tweak it for a bit more top speed in quali, and you set up for the race?
I just used my dry setup and then just up the front wing one and soften my front suspension a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting either one way or the other. Drivers to put a wet setup on and tweak it for the dry qualifying, or put a dry setup on and then just tweak it for the wet.
Yeah.
Cool Beans and Indian Jesus were going absolutely at it there into turn 1. I think Cool Beans managed to stay ahead of Indian Jesus. But I think Cool Beans is struggling a little bit in this weather.
Starting to get acclimated to his wheel that he got over Christmas time.
Yeah, and he had a horrible start to the race. He got spun at turn 1, or he spun himself at turn 1, but he's already back up into P10, so he's got pace. Delta's had an incident. Delta's dropped now down to P8, so he's lost a couple of positions, and his teammate Stewart has jumped him into P6 now. Exotic, look at Exotic go. He's up. He's up.
Jesus pulls a move on Cool Beans. Ooh, and he spins.
Oh, Jesus is round again.
Oh no.
Cheeky reset to track there as well. Make a note of that time. Shall we say anything? Should we keep it to ourselves?
Oof. I think the cat's already out of the bag. And up until last week, he didn't know that it's more comfortable to have your pedals elevated.
Yeah, I noticed that, to be fair, when I was using a wheel at some point. I used to have them flat, and then I raised them, and it is actually a lot easier. You can use your heel a lot more to kind of feather the throttle.
Yeah, exactly.
So who's your money on today? Who's impressing you? I think Henry is obviously the quickest. Cali Rob's not too much further behind, but we all know that Henry is an absolute bottle job, and he does like throwing races away on occasion. But then the driver behind him, Cali, is a bit of a bottler as well and likes to throw races away. So would you say...
one thing about Cali Rob is, though, when he's on it, he tends to really come in strong at the end of the race.
That's a good point. That's very true. That's very true. He's doing well so far. He's gaining time. He's gained about 4/10 in the last 2 laps on Henry. So he's got some pace.
If we have a safety car, though, we can't count out the Brammer, though.
That's very true. So he obviously risked his strategy at the beginning and went intermediates again for the second time this season, and realised by the second corner of the formation lap that it was probably the wrong decision. It doesn't help that everyone was goading him in the Discord, saying, do it, do it, do it. Cali sets fastest lap of the race. Been impressed by both McLarens though. They're both in P6 and P8. They're starting to close the gap on the wooden spoon.
Any way you could tell us how those tires are doing, Delta?
They feel great.
So are we thinking a no stop?
Possibly no stop, yeah. It depends on if this rain stops and the track improves. But obviously they're wearing very slowly. We're 7 laps in, less than 10% average. So yeah, no stop unless the rain improves.
Okay. I'll let you get back to it.
Bit twitchy on the exit there.
Shut up.
So Cool Beans has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That is a shock and a half for it's a driver who probably only the second time penalty he's got all season, and he gets it after 7 laps here at Portugal. So I think he's definitely struggling. But at the minute he is opening up his championship lead by at least 2 points over Honesy. So we'll watch out for that, see where he stays. But he's losing time to Delta, so he's not doing a very good job at the minute. Bear with me 2 secs, just talk.
Well, let's see if we have any good battles going on. Like everyone's pretty spread out at the moment. We do have Stewart and Exotic getting a little close to each other.
You've got all this to come. I'm trying to put a 6-year-old to bed. She keeps coming downstairs the 3rd time so far.
Yeah, so I have to look forward to any day now.
Is it any day now? I was going to ask you how it must be getting very close.
The due date was yesterday, so.
Oh wow, wow! So
yeah.
literally any day.
Yeah.
Good luck when it does come. It's a very stressful time, that moment.
Oh, it's gonna be,
when it all starts, you have no idea what to do, but you think you have to do.
This, like, all natural as well, so even more stressful.
Okay, interesting. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm like, well, pain.
And Callie's just been dropped a little bit by Henry. Henry's put his foot down. And he is, yeah, just lost about a second over the last 2 laps. So he's using a bit more ERS than Henry. Henry's basically just using his ERS very, very sparingly. So yeah, I think he might just be found his rhythm a little bit now, Callie. But and we've lost Righty Boy. Righty Boy's out of the race. Let's jump to.
Ooh, what happened back there?
I don't know. I've just seen the Alfa Romeo go past
into
it.
The wall out of turn 8.
Yeah, and look at that, a full course safety car. Now, what happens at a safety car? The whole field bunches up.
We got to keep an eye on Geert, Hones, and Cornet here.
Yeah, and Red Dog's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That is unbelievable. And as Viet is slinging the back end of that Alfa Romeo out, drifting around that corner, did well to keep it actually on the tarmac and rather than spin it into the wall. So that.
So who do we have pitting? Indian Jesus, Cool Beans, and Bacon.
What are they doing?
We have Bacon coming out of the pits here.
Intermediate tyres.
Ooh.
Intermediates.
Delta, do you think it feels like interweather?
It doesn't look like interweather.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't feel like it either. He's still struggling for grip on the exits. I mean, that's just me. I'm not exactly the best driver.
No, but there's 4 drivers.
It didn't look like Hunzi was making up much time before the safety car came out, so I still don't think the inters are quite on pace yet.
Well, Hunzi put wets on and has gone back to inters again, so he thinks it's interweather. We've got 5 drivers who have decided that, and the 6th.
We have the bottom 4 going in now.
Yeah, it's Cornet's inters, Cornet's intermediates. Red Dog is intermediates. Toss the Caber is going to be intermediates as well, I assume. Flash of green. So we've got half the field on inters. Well, it's actually 2/3 of the field on inters, and 1/3 of them on wet. So Delta, you're going to have to make a decision soon. You're joining the back of that pack. You might lose a few spots if you don't pit now, if you decide to pit a bit later on. So no pressure, but make a decision.
We have the top 3 coming in as well.
Look at that. Callie and Henry both inters.
Yep.
Stewart stays out, Exotic stays out, Lasser's intermediate tyres, Delta is staying on the wet tyres. This, you know, the drivers who have put the inters on could have made a huge mistake, but it does look, there's not as many puddles on the track as there was before.
Yeah, there is a line forming.
There is, and the Wayne? I tried to say weather and rain at the same time, then it came out Wayne.
You make fun of us Americans.
I know.
And you guys.
Sorry. That's the dog having a go at me as well. The rain doesn't look quite as heavy as it did. There's still a few puddles forming, and there's still a bit of spray on the windscreen, on the helmet cam of Delta. But I don't know. By the time the safety car comes in, you know, it could be a bit different. But we've got 4 drivers on wet tyres. The rest of the field are all on fresh intermediates. Yeah, so obviously Mr. Woot there confirms that he's still in the Monaco after party to his friend Jack, who is his avid follower, SFR and CCR Network's biggest fan. Follows Mr. Woot everywhere in the world that we do go. He was asking where he was this week, and he's not here. And yeah, Mr. Woot replied to say that the after party is still going strong in Monaco. So we're still waiting on the safety car to come in. I'm going to shoot off for 2 seconds. Be back shortly.
sorry about that. I'm back. Dogs don't like to cooperate with full silence for about an hour.
Right, so still under safety car conditions. And we've had 2 more drivers pit for wets. Them being Lasser, Stewart. Both pitting for intermediate tyres. So it's just tyres. What would you have done in this situation, Dace?
I think I would have followed with the rest of the field.
Yeah?
I would have went for inters probably as quick as possible. You just want to get that pit stop out of the way.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And here comes Exotic. Delta is the only... Delta's the only driver staying on the wet tyres. This is crazy. I can see the puddles going as well. I think it might not be quite ready for interweather, but I think it's going to be soon.
I think it would be better to fit under safety car and ride the struggle bus for...
Because everyone's going to be struggling, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, you know, Delta could be... and Red Dog picks up another penalty. He's a bit penalty happy today as Red Dog. But you would have gone in for inch. You would have followed the field. Gone with the majority.
Yeah. Yep.
I probably would have done as well, to be fair. No, I probably... do you know what? I put my hands up and say I am not fast at this. If I was in a spot where Delta is, I probably would have stayed out. Obviously, the last McLaren who decided not to pit on when everyone else was doing so was Lando Norris. And he lost his race win because of it. So, you know, McLaren have had their hands burnt before from not changing tyres. So they might get their hands burnt again. You never know. Who knows? But Delta, the lonely man on the wet tyres. He could be in a very good position for the race start, though. If he can open up a 20-second gap, he's a pit stop ahead of everyone.
Now we do need to watch. This could be a classic Henry moment.
This could be.
As much as we all love Henry.
So the safety car is coming in. He will be the safety car come a couple of corners time.
The new limiter they've added into the game it makes it very sketchy for safety car restarts in the wet.
Oh, does it?
Okay. It's just going to give you full power or not.
As I say, I haven't actually raced on this game yet properly.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
I've done a couple of races against the AI, but that's right on board. His telemetry he's feathering it at the minute. He's gone. He's gone. So does Kelly get the? He's stuck with him.
Yep.
Delta. I'm gonna keep.
Looks like both of them are using pretty high downforce.
Yeah, and you know what's the gaps looking like? It's all pretty. Is there anything going on in the middle of the field? I don't think there is. I think it's all pretty much we follow you, I follow you. As that is the. I didn't catch what
up to
car.
P7 or P6.
With B16 is round. Coolbeans is losing a position to Jesus. Yeah, as you say that, Jesus has overtaken Coolbeans. Delta is.
Back in the top 10 as well.
Holmesy's overtaking Coolbeans as well. He's going up the inside. And we've got a McLaren going wide. That's Stuart Little. We've got an incident at the back. That was 3 cars involved. That was Cornet. That was Exotic. And that was Yerdy. Yerdy's in the wall. Delta is... I think he's struggling on these tyres. He's lost 3 seconds now. He's becoming a bit of a train for the cars behind. And Holmesy goes round the outside. What a move there from Holmesy. And Delta is getting attacked now from the inside from the Williams. I think he is, he is an absolute sit and duck now. The Inters are definitely the tyre to be on. And he is basically just... He's lost 4 positions in the space of 3 corners. And he's going to lose another one. I think Coolbeans is going to try around the outside, is he?
I'm not driving and I'm scared for this.
Yeah, I know. He's got 3 drivers coming through. There's a train of 3 drivers. He's got Stuart on his outside, and here he comes into the pits. He's decided it is time. to box. Unfortunate for Delta, he tried a strategy, and as we got Exotic overtaking B16, we've lost Cornet. Cornet has, I think he's just retired, to be fair. He's just decided to retire the car, box the car. He picked up another penalty, and that's him out of the race. So good news for Honesy is he's in P3, and his closest championship challenger is all the way down in P8. So he's going to get a jump on points if it stays as is. I think Stewart and Exotic are fighting their wheel-to-wheel coming out of turn 5. Exotic's going to have the inside line, but Stewart looked like he got the better exit, and he backs out, and Exotic keeps the position. And I think Stewart's basically pushing his gearbox up turn 8, which you don't really want to be too close to a car. How are you finding turn 8? I was struggling in the practice session we were doing earlier.
With the setup I worked on with Cornet, it felt actually pretty easy. I've done quite a lot of sweat at this track just to not die. I need to be fast, so it's gotten a bit easier at this point.
That's fair enough. I ended up using, I think, Honesy's setup at one point, and it was absolutely awful. And then I found a setup online which I was running 411 wings.
Oof.
And it felt so good. It wasn't the fastest, but it was absolutely stuck to the track, like it didn't move. It felt so nice to drive.
I find most of the time I can only use the setups I make for myself anymore. I really can't steal anyone's.
I couldn't really make up my own setups. I'm not that mechanically switched on to know what each thing does. I never knew how to tweak it. I didn't have the patience to go and test it, basically.
Yeah, it is a lot of testing. I can use Cornet's setups quite a bit. He tends to use the same as me. I mean, most people that are league racing use very aggressive, like 1-1 suspension, or something crazy like 2-2 roll bars, or low like that. I can't even get around a lap without dying after that.
Yeah. No, I always used to use a setup where I knew the car, if I could have confidence in the car, and then I'd maybe make it a little bit faster. But I've never been one to use an aggressive setup, because I'm just not the type of driver who can control the car like that. Hence why I'm currently where I am in the commentary box and not not on the track. I mean, to be fair, I don't touch the game in the week anymore. I don't race it. I don't usually play it.
I am very ready for the next game to come out. My luck on this game has just been awful.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that for the last 5 years, 3 years actually, when the new game comes out. It's going to be better. It's going to be better as Exotic overtakes Coolbeans down the straight into turn 1, and Coolbeans drops another position down to P9.
We have Indian Jesus getting up close to the back of Bacon here.
Okay, so both drivers in a Honda-powered vehicle.
Behind.
Yeah, Viet's looking to pick up any scraps he can. Callie is actually within 3/10 now of Henry. So I think Callie is he's using a lot more ERS than Henry. Callie has lost a few tenths through that part of the track. You're still pretty close. What's happening with Jesus and Viet?
This might be a confidence thing for Callie. I think he's starting to build his rhythm here.
Yeah, it's definitely a track where you need to build up a rhythm. It's a roller coaster. It's up, down. It's unforgiving. You need to get yourself in a rhythm. If you're in a rhythm, then you have a good race. What's happening with B16 looks pretty close to the back of Coolbeans. I don't think Coolbeans has dialed into this track yet. He's definitely not got his rhythm going. And he is currently P9 with B16 on his tail. Red Dog and Delta are fighting hard. Just keep an eye on those gaps. I think they're all staying pretty much the same at the minute. I think Red Dog and Delta are the closest two together. Delta obviously now back on the intermediate tyres. Tried a different strategy than everyone else. It didn't work out for him, but you've got to try it or you never know. I don't think anything's going to happen at this point in time. Doesn't look like anyone's
I think right now it's looking like the track might dry out for slicks towards the end.
It does. Again, it looks like the puddles are gone. There are no puddles on the track now, and it's just a very light rain.
It's more so looking at the spray to tell whether or not it's the crossover point or not. This game in general is very deceiving. It'll look wet visibly, but the track will just feel completely dry. A nice little Cody's glitch for us.
They like to do. They like to do
a bonus feature.
It's a lot of bonus features, but not a lot of them are good bonus features. Gaps wise, Toss is trying to make a bit of a comeback. He is Delta's dropped Red Dog now actually, and Red Dog picks up, and Toss goes up the inside of Red Dog and gets that move done, and Red Dog filters in.
Jesus somewhat as well.
Yeah, there's a 1.2 second gap now. Toss is finally fully and properly past Red Dog, and he's up to P12. Delta is his next victim. Via is still close to Jesus, but as you say, Bacon has dropped Jesus a little bit. Callie is still within the 7/10 of Henry, both with similar amounts of ERS.
He's very smart to just pressure Henry as long as he can.
Yeah, Henry's always known for a
he might very well be using this as motivation though, Van Rocco.
yeah, he possibly will, but he's very well known for a penalty. He's got a penalty in him.
Let me do a warning check real quick.
But you never know, he might be alright. So Woot is obviously shouting, calling on Bacon today. Bacon currently in P5, so getting some good championship points for the Red Bulls. Jack is slagging off Mr. Woot by saying he's watching the race, but he's not racing. He's not thinking of his fan base. Woot's not thinking of the fans. Red Dog set off a yellow flag there. Might be possibly struggling
Henry
with
and Callie Rob are both on 1-1.
So Henry and Callie are both on 1, and Henry has opened up a half a second gap to Callie now. So I think Henry is starting to use more of his ERS. So he's going to try and open the gap for the next couple of laps. See where he's at. Was that someone going round there? No, it wasn't.
I'm just one away.
Now it looks like we are settled. All the gaps, the closest battle is between Via and Indian Jesus and B16 and Cool Beans, but they're not even that close to each other, so we're going to be settling down now into a bit of a... The field spread's quite far, considering we only had a safety car finish a couple of laps ago. Everyone is pretty spaced out as well.
Yeah, this would probably be a somewhat boring race to drive. Yeah, especially in the wet. I mean, at least it's not Singapore, but with just clear air in front of you in the wet, it just feels like it takes forever.
Did you race Hungary in NRL the other week? I can't remember.
I'd be lying if I say I remembered.
Because that was the worst race to watch. It was just the most boring race I've ever had the courtesy of watching. It was wet, and obviously Hungary's not known for overtakes anyway, let alone in the wet. It was just, yeah. And there goes Henry. He's picked up 2 warnings in the space of a lap, and he picks up a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, this race so far, you know, 18, 19 laps in, not many overtakes going on, but a lot going on at the same time. Whereas now it looks like it might just be starting to settle into a bit of a rhythm with everybody. Now, actually saying that, Toss is going for a move up into turn 4. Is he on Delta? Delta runs a bit wide. Toss is up the inside. He's right on board with Toss as he comes into the braking zone. Is he going to make a move? Toss hates fighting with Delta Lima because Delta makes his car wide, and he does the same thing there again. Toss is going to struggle to get past Delta here. we will give Delta, as we ride on board with Toss actually, and Delta's in our chat with us. Well, I'll just point Delta into the...
nice to Delta.
Yeah, so... Toss is not using any ERS. He's filtering back. He's not looking to make any kind of moves. He's got a half a second gap. Let's be Delta's race engineer for the minute. Try and keep him ahead of Toss and annoy him for as long as we possibly can. He's still not using his ERS. We'll let you know. He looks up the inside, thinks better of it. Delta is not using any ERS either. So he's got the jump on you there. He breaks a little bit later into that corner, Delta, just for your information for next time round. Now, if he's got a full tank of ERS, he's still not using it. And he's now using it. He's using it, Delta. Use your ERS, boy. He's dumping his ERS. He's off it now, so you can open up that gap.
Yeah, B16 attempting to move on Cool Beans here.
He is. Let's jump on board with those. Yeah, so I think B16 knows he's probably got the pace, but he just hasn't got...
I think the dirty air for...
yeah.
The dirty air and the spray for this track is just really not letting these guys get very close.
And Toss is going up the air on the outside as he Delta defends the inside. Toss runs wide, and he's still not using his ERS. He filters back in behind, and Delta is still ahead of Toss the Caber. A bit twitchy from Toss there, so he's going to have lost a little bit of time. And yeah, Delta pulls away. Now Toss is using his ERS now. He's stopped using it. I feel like
this is why it makes me glad I'm nice to Delta. He usually doesn't fight me this hard.
No, he is. Yeah, I think he knows that Toss. You know, Toss likes he likes racing Delta because Delta's obviously very fair, very clean, but he makes his car wide, and Toss constantly says that he's like a train to follow. Delta's used a lot of his ERS up. Toss has got 90%. We'll let you know when he starts using it.
If it was possible to be slowly fast.
He's using it, Delta. He's using it. He's stopped using it now, so you can stop using yours. Are there anything else happening on track? This is the most exciting battle, so we're going to stay with this. Right on board with Toss. He's going to look up the inside, but he thinks better of it. And Delta misses the apex there.
On track at the moment is Indian Jesus and Veert, but it doesn't look like they're in a hurry to get dicey.
No, so Toss is now using his ERS, and I think he's going to get past Delta, but Delta breaks late into turn 5, but breaks too late and runs wide, misses the apex completely. And Toss is round by himself. Toss has spun it. He's absolutely bottled it there, and Stewart goes past him, and Toss is now down into P13. So that's that battle over and done with. Delta did his thing, put so Delta much pressure on him. They do. I mean, both McLaren drivers make their cars so wide, they're very hard to get past. Stewart is known as the Stewart train.
Way of calling them annoying that I've ever heard.
yeah, but you got to be. You can't have every overtake for yourself. Now that the pressure is off Delta, let's see if we can get him on the phone and see if he wants to chat with us. Did that help you out, Delta, there?
We do have
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
I was just laughing the whole time. I was trying my hardest to concentrate, but I just kept laughing at the pair of you.
We're just trying to keep you ahead of him.
I picked up a penalty because I went wide at one of the corners. Every time I went deep, I was like, they're going to mention it.
We were helping you out. Letting you know when he was using his ERS and where he was going, what he was doing, so trying to give you a bit of space. But well done, you put him under pressure and he spun it by himself. He spun it by himself.
Toss harassing another McLaren here.
Oh, I'll leave you to talk to that.
Cool, so Toss is now trying to fight, and Toss nearly spins around again. Tags the rear wheeler Stewart. I think Stewart listens to the stream as well, but he is not live in the chat, so it's not going to help him if we tell him what's going on. So both McLarens, are they running both car number 69? I think they are. Oh no, Delta runs 83, Stewart runs 69. Now
Indian Jesus runs 69 as well.
Yeah, nice.
Ooh, and I think that's damage for Toss.
Yes, it is. And left end plate is damaged, so it's going to be awful for him to drive that now. It's not going to feel very nice. And yeah, that is probably a run through the pit stop is needed. He's lost a second and a half already. Now Via is still, yeah, just following. Jesus, he just cannot get close to him.
Our only hope for on-track action right now is Bearded Indian Jesus.
I think Yerdy's getting close to the back of Red Dog. So Yerdy had the incident with Cornet earlier. And Yerdy's within 6/10 of Red Dog. He's using his ERS. Red Dog's still got a lot. He does has to let off the throttle there, does Red Dog, and Yerdy is going to catch him, I think. He's going to have the run on him. You're going to see a move into turn 1. Toss is in the pits. Toss has gone soft tyres. Is it ready for softs?
Keep an eye on his delta. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it at all. Let me take an eye.
He's all over the place. He's all over the place. It's not ready for soft tyres. He's got the wheel at full lock, and it wasn't turning in. So I think that's his race done and dusted. Even a safety car now will see him lapped, I believe. Yes, he's already been lapped, so a safety car won't save him now. Callie and Henry, there is a 3.5 second gap. Honesy is just cruising around in P7. Lasser in P4.
If Callie can just reel in 3/10, he could get this win.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I forgot about the penalties. Have a quick check on the penalty situation. So Henry's got 3
seconds still.
Yeah, Henry's got 3. Lasser's got 3. Via, Exotic, Cool Beans, Delta have all got 3 seconds, and you've got Red Dog currently set on 19, Yerdy on 6, and Yerdy has now passed Red Dog. I think that was Ghost helped with the lapping that's going on between these drivers at the minute. And Henry sets the fastest lap of the race. Via picks up another 6 second time penalty. Sorry, 6 second time. He's got 3 seconds of 6 in total. So he's going to have to get past Jesus quick and open up a gap. There's only 8 laps remaining.
Oof.
Toss is
that
pitting.
Is very scary.
What's he going to do now? Is he going to put a set of medium tyres on, do you reckon? He's retiring. He retires.
Oof. Not fun to watch right there.
No, it's not what you want to see. So in the points at the minute, Cool Beans is bringing 1 point home, and Honesy's going to bring 15. So Honesy will take control of the Drivers' Championship if it stays as is. Constructors should close up as well. We've got Jesus and Via around on the exit of 5.
Oh no.
Have they had an incident together?
They are in the same party together, so there might be some shouting in that party.
Okay. Yeah. That's not brilliant for either driver there. I don't know if they had I don't know if one spun and then they collected the other one, or maybe they went wheel to wheel. Who knows, but that's good for Exotic. Exotic takes P6 in the race now.
Alright, even though Toss pit a little early, I think we still could see a good 2 laps on slicks here.
It doesn't look like it's raining anymore, to be fair.
It's not raining at all. I was checking multiple points on the track. So,
it's just a bit of
we got somebody going in.
Little bit of spray.
Red Dog's in for mediums.
Is Red Dog in for mediums?
I'm surprised he's not near a disqualification with 24 seconds of pens.
Yeah, I think one of them is a 5 second. Oh no! Comes out the pits and he's snaking everywhere. I don't think that was the right tyre. Callie's gone soft. Callie's gone soft tyres. Callie's gone early and put the soft tyres on. Has this just... I think it's too early. He's not been able to put the power down. He's switching all over the place. Exotic's gone soft as well. We've got a rainbow of different tyre colours going on at the minute. But I think that the intermediate tyres is definitely the one to be on. Because Callie is losing time hand over fist. So at this point, if you'd seen Callie go in for soft tyres, would you have also pitted with him onto softs?
No, I don't think it's dry enough yet.
Delta runs a bit wide there, and he's up to P9 now as Exotic is struggling. Viet is on soft. Stewart's coming out on soft tyres, so we are having a lot more drivers, but yeah, it doesn't look dry enough for it.
They're more trying to go for the undercut, and I don't think they're judging for the time lost when before those softs are actually in working condition.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus easily glides past Cali Rob there. I think the drivers who are overtaking these guys pretty rapidly are going to decide against it, but I can see some blue sky coming through in the clouds, so it's not going to be long if it does dry up, but I think they're definitely at least 2 laps early. At least 2 laps early. This is good for Delta. He's going to pick up some points at the minute because he's got drivers behind him on soft tyres. There's definitely blue sky breaking through in those crowds. There's definitely blue sky on that final corner. So we are going to see some action.
Now the spray is starting to get to almost 0 now.
Yeah, Cali is 44 seconds behind Henry. Bear in mind he was only 3 or 4 seconds behind before he pitted. He would have lost at least 20 seconds during the pit stop phase, maybe 24, 25, so he's lost at least 20 seconds. And he's lost another 2 just from me talking. Viet is out of the race. Viet's out.
Viet retires.
That's a pit lane incident. That's a full course safety car. A safety car with 6 laps remaining.
I think we will get 4 laps. It looks like we'll have 2 laps of
all drivers.
And Henry's around.
Henry's bottled it, is he?
Henry's around.
Henry is around. It's not going to cost.
He's got more than enough time. Okay, he's got more than enough time.
It's not going to cost him massively because obviously we're under safety car. Cars aren't going at full pace. But it is dry. It's not raining. There's not a lot of spray. We are going to see everyone come in for the soft tyres, I believe. Now Bacon puts softs on. Indian Jesus in the pits. He's probably going to go for soft tyres. Yeah, this is we're not going to see the whole field bunch up either. The safety car probably won't stay out for as many laps as it usually does.
I think they will get at least 2 laps of the green flag.
Yeah, so we did NRL last night, didn't we? And we had 2 laps exactly because the DRS didn't open up in Spa, and that was it was pretty handy for who won that race, Tallers. Because obviously the DRS is so overpowered down the Kemmel Straight, isn't it, that whoever's in the lead on the last lap was going to get overtaken down the Kemmel Straight and lose the lead of the race because it was just changing hands every lap.
Now, do we have Henry going in? Yep, Henry is going into the pits.
So Henry boxes. Now Holmesy is coming around the final corner. Is Henry changing? Did Henry get any wing damage, do you reckon? Let's watch Holmesy. Holmesy boxes. Lasser currently in P3. I think Cali went... Oh, he was very close there to the pit entry. And he gets a 5-second speeding in the pit lane penalty for that as well, does Lasser. So that's going to screw him up a little bit at the end of the race when we have the penalties taking over from the final classification. Stuart Little gets another 3-second penalty. I think Cali had lost too much time and he is going to come out in P4. It looks like Lasser's going to stay ahead. Yeah, Lasser stays ahead.
Now these penalties are going to come back to really hurt Henry here.
Yeah, and Lasser as well, that 5 seconds. Now yeah, Delta's still on intermediates. Delta, what's your thinking right now? Is he ignoring us?
It looks like. Just got a text from Veer. He says Ashish spun right in front of him and he just got caught up in chaos.
Who spun right in front of him?
Yeah.
Who did?
Jesus.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. So he got collected rather than they hit each other.
Stuart Little said this is absolutely not dry conditions.
No, so, I mean, Delta, could we see He's the only driver deciding to stay out. I mean, we said this last time, and as soon as we lost the end of the safety car, the track just automatically dried up and it was already ready for intermediate weather. Delta's in a
if the game were consistent with the feeling and the actual look of the track, then it would be a little easier to judge, but from past experiences, the track looks very wet but will feel dry, so it's kind of is a gamble of just a pure game of chance here. Yeah,
did you see Holmesy has got a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, and Lasser's in the pits. I think Lasser might have damage. I think they might have had a bit of an incident coming together. I'm not sure what happened. Let's see what the race director says. Incidents.
Ooh, and Holmesy gets a 5-second.
Let's go down to the bottom. Holmesy ignores yellow flag. Basically, that's what it was saying. Lasser, I think Lasser's going to try and serve his... I think Lasser's serving his speeding penalty. He's going to get rid of his 5 seconds. And under safety car, it's probably the best thing to do because he will catch back up to the pack and only lose 1 position rather than possibly lose 6 or 7.
We'll see the green flag at the end of this lap.
There's still water coming down the helmets, which means it is still okay for inters, and I haven't seen the DRS enabled light come on yet. Mate, if Delta wins this, I'm on the pitch.
Turn down my earphone volume.
He's going to go full Pierre Gasly on us. Whoa! What the fuck did we just do? What did we just do? I mean, at the minute, at this point in time, he's in the box seat. Safety car's in this lap. However, the sun is on the visor. I think it might be...
It is. I knew it would be very close when the safety car actually went in.
Yeah, the sun literally just blinded me then as he came around that corner. But as you come around this corner, it goes dark again. So it's trying to break through. It wants to break free.
I will keep an eye back here from Indian Jesus' point of view. If you want to...
Cali Rob gets 5 seconds for ignoring yellow flag as well. What's happening with these drivers today? This is good for Delta.
A bacon win? A bacon win?
It could be a bacon win.
I'm definitely not joining the party next week if it is.
So we got drivers. Let's ride on board with Delta then. As Cool Beans is overtaking Exotic. Delta into turn 1. He looks like he's got more grip. He gains a lot of time there. Runs a bit wide, possibly picks up a warning. But look at that, he's just driving, trying to drive around the outside of Lasser there. But Cool Beans is ahead of him and... Oh no! Delta's round, Cool Beans goes off. Delta is manages to keep it facing the right way, but loses a lot of time in places. Lasser's up to P5, he gets ahead of Jesus. We've got 2 laps remaining. We aren't going to see the activation of DRS. So it is going to be all on track, but DRS doesn't really cause... Toss the Caber commenting on the YouTube. He's
put it's only a dry track.
It's dry track now, yeah, it's dry. Look at that. It's, again, Delta has gambled, and his gambles... It's still water droplets on his helmet, though. But he's starting to... Yeah, he's losing time. So Toss is right on the YouTube chat that hopefully Delta drops out the points. That was the worst experience of his life, driving behind Delta. And then he's just said yes when Delta went wide and spun. So Toss did not like... And who's that? That is 2 drivers out. That's Lasser out.
Lasser.
As I skip through...
Lasser and Yerdy.
Is it Lasser and Yerdy? Yerdy's out as well. So they've had a coming together. Both Red Bull and Williams drivers. We've lost 10 now, have we? No, 9. We've lost 9 drivers. 8 drivers. I can't count. Henry's starting to pull away from Holmesy. And who was that round as well? That was a Aston Martin. This Red Dog round at the top of turn 4. Both McLarens are going to come through. So Delta and Stewart currently running in P9 and P10 respectively. So another 3 points coming McLaren's way. The gaps are opening up. We've got pretty big gaps all over the field. And with regards to penalties, Henry is in the box seat in the penalties. He's got 3 seconds to Honesy's 5, Cali Rob's 5.
Oh, and Bacon is around.
Yeah, just as I flicked on board with Bacon, he was spinning around, and that is his chance for the race win over. He could have possibly got in there on time penalties alone. Indian Jesus is looking to take a podium position, though, away from Honesy and Cali Rob. So Henry wins the race. Jesus gets P2. Honesy in P3. Cali in P4. Bacon is going to come home in P7. Cool Beans is going to take P8. Stewart's going to take P9 after Delta lost. I think Delta got overtaken by Stewart. So Delta finishes P10. Stewart in P9. And that was an interesting race, to say the least. A lot happened, a lot didn't happen in the middle, but the beginning and the end was pretty strong, and Exotic gets driver of the day from Cody's, and I would probably say that I agree with that, because Exotic started right at the back and ended up coming through the field. I think, where did he finish in the end, Exotic? Exotic finished P5, so he started 19th and finished P5. But also strong drives from B16 and Bacon, starting in the midfield and coming through to 6 and 7 respectively. Henry started pole, finished pole. Jesus with a good drive from P9 to P2 as well. So who would you put down as your driver of the day after looking at all of those?
Hold on 1 second. My PS4 is very slow.
I'm possibly gonna change my mind actually and say Jesus, because he gets P2 on a return. Started in P9.
I would say either Jesus or Exotic there.
Yeah.
From P19 to P5 is pretty impressive, but also a last-second podium. Before the safety car, he had absolutely no shot at that. So
yeah, we might see a few people, a few drivers, as in Cali and Honesy, fighting their 5-second time penalties. You never know.
That does look like some Cody's glitch, so Cali Rob could get that removed.
Yeah, Toss is still slagging off Delta. GG's to all apart from Delta. So yeah, I think Delta has really pissed Delta off. So Delta's really pissed Toss off, just from driving hard. You know, you don't want to make things too easy for drivers, do you?
I guess not.
Guess not. But thank you for joining me, Dace. It's been nice to have you. Nice to have someone to talk to on a Sunday evening.
Yeah, no problem.
I hope if anything does get moving this week, I hope all goes well. Keep us updated. And
oh, I will. If baby lands, the Discord will know.
Yeah, thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining us and watching SFR Season 5, Round 9, Portugal. We are in, I think is it Bahrain next week?
Yes, it is.
It is. That's a good memory I've got, isn't it? So yeah, Bahrain next week. That's always an interesting race, followed by Canada and the Netherlands.
Not quite as old as you say, Delta. Or not Delta, Van Rocco.
Yeah.
Oof.
Memory's there. The memory's still there. But yeah, you'll join us next week. NRL are racing somewhere. I don't know where. They're racing on Saturday, so join us for that as well on Saturday evening, and then PAFR race on Sunday mornings in the UK. So join us for that as well. But thank you, and that's it. Good evening.